I was 11 years old, I was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes. Before I was diagnosed, I had the symptoms of a stomach bug. I was frequently urinating, and I lost 20 pounds within 2 weeks, and I would throw up almost every hour. I was also severely dehydrated. I wanted to be in cold water, and I wanted any type of drink I could get my hands on. Type 1 diabetes is an autoimmune disorder in which the pancreas stops producing insulin. Insulin is a hormone that when you eat, it fights off the food and provides your body energy. About 40,000 people are diagnosed with type 1 diabetes yearly. There is also a type 2 diabetes. Type 2 diabetes can be found in overweight or older people. I've used the past 8 years to learn more about my disease, how it affects my body, and what I can do to help find a cure to the disease, because there isn't one. There are many misconceptions about type 1 diabetes. The first misconception is that it's only in older people. Older people it does not matter to. It doesn't matter to any age. There's another misconception that type 1 diabetes is only found in overweight people. Your weight does not matter. Type 1 diabetes does not matter about your weight. Another one is that you're not athletic enough. I've always been told by people when they find out I'm a diabetic, they always say, but you're athletic, but you exercise, or but you're not fat enough, or even, but you're so young. And some of these misconceptions can hurt the person's feelings because I didn't ask for this, and it didn't ask specifically me. It didn't matter about anything I had. Some signs of type 1 diabetes. For a high blood sugar, you have obviously weight loss or stomach bug symptoms. If you have had it for a few days, your blood sugar maintains high. A lot of the time you also sweat a lot. I know when my blood sugar is high, doesn't matter what I'm doing, I tend to sweat, and you're severely dehydrated. You just want something cold. You always just want something. Some symptoms of a low blood sugar would be shakiness. I know my hands shake when I'm low. Another one could be a weak feeling. Your bones start to just ache and you feel weak. Others could be blurry vision or a loss of thought. Sometimes your blood sugar is low, you just forget what you're thinking about, or you just kind of blank out for a second. Or even with the blurry vision, some things are blurry, you can still see it, you can still see the details, it's just harder to focus on. Now, there are many different ways to intake insulin if you have a high blood sugar. When you're first diagnosed, normally you're put on a needle injection. Needle injections can be taken between 2 to 4 times a day, or any time during the day, really. I know when I was first diagnosed, I would have to take my needle injections at morning time and at dinner time. Lunch and bedtime were optional depending on how high my blood sugar was. My target rate was between 100 and 120, and if I was over that, I would have to calculate how much I had to take. There are also pumps, insulin pumps. There's many different types of insulin pumps. I've been on the Medtronic and the Omnipod insulin pump. The Medtronic was my first one, seen here, and it's just this little device, and you put the insulin in right there, and it holds up to 300 units, and it has a little wire, and you just connect it to your hip, or anywhere you really can connect it, and it has a little injection port on your body when you need to inject your insulin. And you can keep it on there up to as many days you want. depending on how much insulin you have left. There's also an Omnipod pump. I'm currently on an Omnipod pump. This is the Omnipod. It's also my meter. I check my blood sugar right down there, and then it reads to me how much I need to take. And the insulin is in my little pod right here. And it just tells the pod, Bluetooth wise, just to give me some insulin. To manage a low blood sugar, you would normally take food with full protein. My favorite low blood sugar snack is a peanut butter crackers and orange juice. For a high blood sugar, you need to take insulin. Diabetes does not hold anybody back. That's a very big misconception of, if you're diabetic, you can't do anything with your life. The only two things a diabetic cannot do is go into the army, because obviously you can't take insulin in the middle of a battlefield, and fly a plane, because your blood sugar drops and you go blurry vision and you just can't do it. It's unsafe for you and your passengers. I hope you've realized the symptoms that comes with diabetes, so that if you find somebody out in public, you might catch that symptom and be able to recognize, hey, you might need to eat, you might need to take insulin, you might need to go to the hospital. Thank you.